Hi students, good morning to all. Welcome back to our science class. Today we are going to discuss about a new chapter, combustion and flame. This is the first part video. In this chapter there are two parts. In first part we are discussing about combustion and in the second part we are going discussing about flame. Okay, in this video we are going to study about combustion. Then what are the important points we want to discuss in this video? First one, combustion. Second one, ignition temperature. Third one, inflammable substance. And fourth one, types of combustion. There are three types of combustion: rapid combustion, spontaneous combustion and explosion. Okay, these are the four important points we want to discuss in this video. So let us move to our chapter. We use different kinds of fuels for various purposes at home, in industry and for running automobiles. Can you name a few fuels used in our homes? Okay. Cow dung, wood, coal, charcoal, LPG, etc. Then name a few fuels used in a trade and industry. Charcoal can use. Okay, petrol, diesel, etc. are used in our automobiles, running automobiles. So these are few fuels. Okay. Then you are familiar with the burning of a candle and the burning of a fuel like charcoal. Maybe you were able to guess right. What is the difference between the burning of a candle and the burning of a fuel like coal? Yes, candle burns with a flame whereas coal does not. Similarly, you will find many other materials burning without a flame. Let us study the chemical process of burning and the types of flame produced during this process. Okay, recall the activity of burning of magnesium ribbon performed in class 7. We learned that magnesium burns to form magnesium oxide and produces heat and light. When we burn magnesium ribbon, what happens? It burns in air and forms and produces heat and light. Okay students, we find that charcoal burns in air. We know that coal too burns in air producing carbon dioxide, heat and light. So we can say that a chemical process in which a substance reacts with oxygen to give off heat is called combustion. What do you mean by combustion? A chemical process in which a substance reacts with oxygen to give off heat, and heat is called combustion. Okay, the substance that undergoes combustion is said to be what? Is said to be combustible. It is also called a fuel. A fuel may be solid, liquid or gas. Sometimes light is also given off during combustion, either as a flame or as a glow. Magnesium and charcoal are combustible substances. They are examples of combustible substance. Understand? Then combustion means, what do you mean by combustion? A chemical process in which a substance reacts with oxygen and give off heat. Okay, what are the examples of a combustible substance? Magnesium and charcoal. And this the substance that undergoes combustion is said to be combustible, or it is also called a fuel. It may be solid, liquid or gas. Okay. Okay students, now we can move to one activity. Collect some materials like straw, matchstick, kerosene oil, paper, iron nails, stone piece, then glass, etc. Try to burn each of these materials one by one. Mark it as combustible and non-combustible. Okay, so you collect these types of materials and burn it very carefully, and then mark it materials which are combustible and non-combustible. So some examples are given. First one, wood. Is it combustible or non-combustible? If we burn wood, it will burn. So it is combustible. Then paper is also combustible material. If iron nail is combustible, no, it is non-combustible. It does not burn. It does not produce heat. And glass, is it combustible? Non-combustible. Then stone piece is also non-combustible. Okay, students? Let us investigate conditions under which combustion takes place.
Do you think oxygen is essential for combustion? Let's perform an activity and test it out. Fix 3 burning candles on a table and cover them with glasses whose bases have been removed. Now, put the glass over the first candle in such a manner that it rests on 2 wooden blocks, as you can see on the screen. Place the glass over the second candle in such a manner that it simply rests on the table. And place a glass plate over the third candle. There you go. Now what do you observe? You will observe that the candle burns freely in the first case. What happens in the second case? The flame flickers and produces more smoke before going off. And what about the third case? In the third case, the flame goes off as soon as it is covered with the glass plate. So, we can say that the presence of air or oxygen is an essential requirement for combustion to take place.
From this video or from this experiment, we can say that for combustion, air is very necessary. Right? Okay. In this pic, or you already watched the video. The candle in A, the candle burns freely in case when air can enter the chimney from below. Okay, we find that for combustion air is necessary. Then the candle burns freely in case when air can enter the chimney from below. Okay, then in case B, what happened? When air does not enter the chimney from below, the flame flickers and produces smoke. Right? Okay, then what about C? In case C, the flame finally goes off because the air is not available. So in the second and third case, what happened to the candle? Yes, it produces, the flames flickers and produces smoke in the second case, and in the third case the flame finally goes off due to the air is not available. Right? So we can say that for combustion air is necessary. Okay. Okay, students. Then you might have heard that when the clothes of a person catch fire, the person is covered with a blanket to extinguish fire. Yes, why? Why we wrapped blanket around a person whose clothes caught fire? Yes, when we wrapped with blanket, what happens? The air supply is stopped. So there is no combustion. Okay. Then you must have had an experience of burning a piece of paper. Does it burn when a burning matchstick is brought near it? Yes. Can you burn a piece of wood by bringing a lightened matchstick near it? Can you burn a piece of you can burn a piece of paper with a matchstick. But can you burn a piece of wood by using matchstick? No. Why? Why do you have to use paper or kerosene oil to start fire in wood or coal? And also, have you heard about forest fire? During extreme heat of summer, at some places dry grasses catch fire. From grasses it spreads to trees, and very soon the whole forest is on fire. It is very difficult to control such fires. Do these experiences tell you that different substances catch fire at different temperatures? Yes. So we can say that there is an ignition temperature. What do you mean by ignition temperature? The lowest temperature at which a substance catches fire. If you put a paper, if you fire a paper by using matchstick, if you burn a paper, it's very easy to burn. But if you use a matchstick to burn a wood, it is very difficult. It does not burn. So we can say that the different substances have different ignition temperature. The lowest temperature at which a substance catches fire is called its ignition temperature. Okay, the paper, wood, etc. are some substance, but they have different ignition temperatures. Okay, so we can say that in paper, the ignition temperature is low, but in the wood, the ignition temperature is higher than that of paper. Okay. Can you tell now why a matchstick does not catch fire on? We find that a combustible substance cannot catch fire or burn as long as its temperature is lower than its ignition temperature. Have you ever seen cooking oil catching fire when a frying pan is kept for long on a burning stove? Yes. Then also kerosene oil and wood do not catch fire on their own at room temperature. Right? But if kerosene oil is heated a little, what happens? It will catch fire. If wood is heated a little, if it catch fire? No. So it means that ignition temperature of kerosene oil is lower than that of wood. Okay, so we need to take special care in storing kerosene oil. So we can say that a combustible substance cannot catch fire or burn as long as its temperature is lower than ignition temperature. Okay students, now we can move to one video. One activity shows that it is essential for a substance to reach ignition temperature to burn. Okay.
Now I am starting an activity. We take half cup of water, 2 candle, 2 paper cup, 1 matchstick. Let's start the activity. Now we pour some water in the paper cup. Then we lighting a candle. Then we heated the cup by candle. Then we see
Okay students, so we can conclude that the heat supplied to the paper cup is transferred to water by conduction in the second case. In the first case, the paper cup is firstly it burns, but in the second case or the case that the cup with water, what happens? The heat supplied to the paper cup is transferred to water by conduction. So in the presence of water, what about the ignition temperature of paper? Yes, the ignition temperature of paper is not reached, hence it does not burn. The substance which have very low ignition temperature and can easily catch fire with a flame are called inflammable substance. Okay, what do you mean inflammable substance? The substance which have very low ignition temperature and also can easily catch fire with a flame are known as inflammable substance. You are very familiar with inflammable substance. For example, petrol, alcohol, liquid petroleum gas or LPG etc. are inflammable substance. When such substance they can easily catch fire. Okay, and they have very low ignition temperature. They need very small temperature for burning. Okay. Hi students, now we can discuss about the next topic. How do we control fire? Does your city or town have a fire brigade station? When a fire brigade arrives, what does it do? Yes, it powers water on the fire, right? Like this picture. When a fire brigade arrives, what does it do? It powers water on the fire. Water, what does water do? Water cools the combustible material so that its temperature is brought below its ignition temperature. This prevents the fire from spreading. Water vapors also surrounded the combustible material, helping in cutting off the supply of air. So the fire is extinguished. Okay. So we can say that when this water cools the combustible materials so that its temperature is brought below its ignition temperature, so it does not burn. Then this prevents the fire from spreading. Then water vapors also surrounded the combustible material, helping in cutting off the supply of air. So the fire is extinguished. Okay, then you are very familiar, you have learned that there are 3 essential requirements for producing fire. Which are them? First one, fuel. Second one, air. What is for what? To supply oxygen. Then heat, to raise the temperature of the fuel beyond the ignition temperature. These 3 are essential requirements for producing fire. So if we cut these 3, if you cut the air supply and heat, fuel, etc., if you remove, then what will happen? There is no fire. Okay, and also fire can be controlled by removing one or more of these requirements. The job of a fire extinguisher is to cut off the supply of air or to bring down the temperature of the fuel, or both. Okay. Then we know that the most common fire extinguisher is what? Water. So we can study about water as fire extinguisher. We know that the most common fire extinguisher is water. This water works only when things like wood and paper are on fire. Note that water works only when things like wood and paper are on fire. If electrical equipment is on fire, what happens when water is used as extinguisher? Water may conduct electricity and also this harm those trying to douse the fire. Okay, then water is not suitable for fires involving oil and petrol. Okay, then because water is heavier than the oil, it sinks below the oil and oil keeps burning on top. So water is not suitable for fires involving oil and petrol. Okay. Then for fires involving electrical equipment and inflammable materials like petrol, carbon dioxide is the best extinguisher. Okay, in the case of this oil and petrol fire, what happened? Water cannot be used. So there is another fire extinguisher, that is carbon dioxide as fire extinguisher. It is very important one. For fires involving electrical equipments and also inflammable materials like petrol, carbon dioxide is the best extinguisher. Why this best extinguisher? Carbon dioxide is being heavier than oxygen. It covers the fire like a blanket. Since the contact between the fuel and oxygen is cut off, the fire is controlled. Thereby the fire is controlled. Cut off the contact between the fuel and oxygen. Okay. Then third one, the added advantage or another advantage of carbon dioxide is that in most cases it does not harm the electrical equipment. Okay, we already discussed that when this water is only used when the things like wood and paper are on fire. But if the electrical equipment and also inflammable materials like petrol and oil are on fire, we can't be used water. At that place we used carbon dioxide. Okay, what are the advantages of carbon dioxide? Yes, in electrical equipments and inflammable materials like petrol we use carbon dioxide as fire extinguisher or best extinguisher because this carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen. It covers the fire like a blanket, and also to cut the contact between, since the contact between the fuel and oxygen is cut off. Okay, then the fire is controlled. The another advantage is what? In the most cases, it does not harm the electrical equipment. Okay, these are the advantages of carbon dioxide. And also, what are the disadvantages of water? As a fire extinguisher, it does not used in electrical equipments on fire, and when the oil and petrol inflammable substance on fire. Okay. Then we can say that how do we get the supply of carbon dioxide? How do we get? Yes, you are very familiar with the cylinder. Okay, carbon dioxide can be stored at high pressure as a liquid in cylinders. When released from cylinder, carbon dioxide expands enormously in volume. Okay students, now we can discuss about how do we get the supply of carbon dioxide. Yes, this picture is what? Cylinder, carbon dioxide cylinder. So we can say that carbon dioxide can be stored at high pressure as a liquid in cylinders. It is stored. We know that carbon dioxide is a gas, but it is stored at a high pressure as a liquid in cylinders. When released from the cylinder, carbon dioxide expands enormously in volume and cools down. When released from the cylinder, then this carbon dioxide gases expands, okay, and cools down. So it not only forms a blanket around the fire, it also brings down the temperature of the fuel. Okay, it forms a blanket around the fire and also it cools down the temperature of the fuel. Then that is why it is an excellent fire extinguisher. So we can say that why carbon dioxide is used as excellent fire extinguisher, because there are two important roles. First one, it forms a blanket around the fire, and also it also brings down the temperature of the fuel. And another way to get carbon dioxide, this is the first way, that is stored as at a high pressure as a liquid in cylinders. That is the first way to get carbon dioxide. And the another way is to release a lot of dry powder of chemicals like sodium bicarbonate or potassium bicarbonate. Okay, another way to get carbon dioxide is that chemicals like sodium bicarbonate or potassium bicarbonate. Okay, near the fire, when we these are powdered form. These chemicals, sodium bicarbonate and potassium bicarbonate, are powdered form. When there is on fire, what to do? This sodium bicarbonate and sodium or potassium bicarbonate, are this dry powder are introduced. Near the fire, these chemicals give off carbon dioxide. Okay, this is very important point. There are two ways to get carbon dioxide. First way is in the form of a liquid in cylinders, and second one, dry powders of chemicals like sodium bicarbonate and potassium bicarbonate. Okay. Now we can move to the types of combustion. This is the last part of our session. Types of combustion. Being a burning matchstick or a gas lighter near a gas stove in the kitchen, what happens? Turn on the knob of the gas stove. What do you observe? Yes, we find that the gas burns rapidly and produces heat and light. So, such combustion is known as rapid combustion. The gas burns rapidly and produces heat and light. Such combustion is known as what? Rapid combustion. Then the second one is spontaneous combustion. What do you mean by spontaneous combustion? The type of combustion in which a material suddenly burns into flames without an application of apparent cause is called spontaneous combustion. For example, phosphorus. There are some substances like phosphorus which burns in air at room temperature. Okay, at room temperature, the materials like substance like phosphorus are burned. So we can say that it burns without any application of any apparent cause. It suddenly burns into flames. So such combustion is known as spontaneous combustion, the type of combustion in which a material suddenly burns into flames without any application of apparent cause. Yes, example is phosphorus. Okay, then next one, The third one is, yes, what is this picture? We generally have fireworks on festival days. When a cracker is lightened, what happens? A sudden reaction takes place with the evolution of heat, light and sound. A large amount of gas formed in the reaction is liberated. Such a reaction is known as explosion, the type of combustion in which a sudden reaction takes place with the evolution of heat, light and sound. Okay, so what is example is crackers, firecrackers. So we can say that in first case, first combustion is rapid combustion, for example gas stove, and the second example is second combustion is spontaneous combustion, for example phosphorus, and the third combustion is explosion, for example firecrackers. Okay, so these are all about this video. Now we can move to the last session. Exercise. There are 4 questions for you. You should write these questions and answers in your notebook. Okay, first one. What do you mean by ignition temperature? This is very important question. This part is very important, ignition temperature. What are the disadvantages of water? Disadvantages of water as using fire extinguisher. Third one. Why carbon dioxide is used as fire extinguisher? Fourth one. Explain the types of combustion. Okay, students. Thank you, students.